karena atas ridhonya lah kita semua bisa izinnya berada dalam acara ini dan acara ini dapat terlaksana. Selamat datang semua kepada para peserta Friday Forum yang saya hormati. Yang terhormat Bapak Dekan FBS, Bapak Dr. Abdurrahman Adisaputra MHum, Bapak Wakil Dekan 1, Bapak Dr. Wahyu Triatmojo MHum, Ibu Wakil Dekan 2, Ibu Dr. Masitowarni MED, Ibu Wakil Dekan 3, Ibu Marice, Ibu Dr. Marice MHum, Ibu Dr. Marice MHum, Bapak Kajur, Bapak Indah Hartoyo MHum, Ibu Sekjur, Ibu Fahri MHum, serta Ibu Ketua Prodi Dik, Ibu Nora MHum, Ketua Prodi Nondik Ibu Juli MHum, serta Ketua Lab yang turut juga mendukung acara ini, Ibu Wika MHum. Dan yang saya muliakan, Ibu narasumber, Ibu Heni Herawati PhD. Terima kasih Ibu telah mau berbagi dengan kami di Universitas Negeri Medan, Fakultas Bahasa dan Seni. Mudah-mudahan apa yang Ibu berikan bisa menjadi pembelajaran buat kami, bisa menjadi ilmu yang baru buat kami, dan bisa menjadi amal jariah buat Ibu. Dan terima kasih juga kepada Ibu Moderator, Ibu Winda Setiasari MHum PhD, yang telah mau bersusah payah untuk mengadakan acara ini.
Tadi Alung ada kelas.
Oke, dan terima kasih juga kepada seluruh peserta yang telah hadir pada hari ini, semua dosen-dosen UNIMED yang telah berkenan, alumni dan peserta-peserta dari luar kota lainnya. Khususnya kami dari Friday Forum mengucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada semua peserta, dan mungkin ini acara kami yang ke-16 ya Pak, 17 ya, setiap bulannya. Dan mungkin bulan depan karena mungkin ada kesibukan banyak dosen, mungkin kita off ya Pak Indra ya untuk bulan depan. Dan mungkin Januari akan kami sampaikan karena mungkin kan bulan 12 banyak kesibukan. Terima kasih kepada pihak fakultas yang terus mendukung, pihak jurusan, pihak prodi apalagi yang terus mendukung pihak lab acara ini sehingga Friday Forum ini terus bisa eksis dan terselenggara dengan baik. Untuk itu tidak berpanjang lebar, kami memohon kepada Bapak Dekan, Bapak Abdurrahman Adisaputra MHum untuk membuka acara ini secara resmi. Pada Bapak, waktu dan tempat kami persilakan.
Terima kasih. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi kita semua. Wakil Dekan 1 FBS, Bapak Dr. Wahyu Triatmojo, Wakil Dekan 2, Ibu Dr. Marice MHum, Bu Dr. Masitowarni MED, Wakil Dekan 3, Ibu Dr. Marice MHum, Ketua Forum ya yang selalu aktif menggiatkan Friday Forum, Bapak Dr. Nasir MHum, Ketua Jurusan Bahasa dan Sastra Inggris, Bapak Indra Toyo PD, Sekretaris Jurusan, Ibu siapa? Pak Indra, Sekretaris
Fahri Aswani.
Fahri Aswani, karena laki-laki itu sering lupa saya. Bapak Ibu Ketua Prodi ya, Bu Juli, Bu Nora, Ketua Lab, Bu Rika, Bapak Ibu dosen, Ibu yang hadir dalam Friday Forum ini, anak kami mahasiswa dan seluruh peserta yang mengikuti Friday Forum yang mungkin juga selalu hadir dalam forum ini. Terutama terima kasih kepada Bapak Dr. Nasir, Pak Ketua Jurusan, ya, Ketua Prodi, atas penyelenggaraan Friday Forum yang pada tahun ini oke, yuk. Coba sebentar dulu ya, Pak WD1, WD3, WD2, mungkin ada mahasiswa kita yang mau berangkat ya? Bu WD3?
Ya Pak, sebentar saya lihat ke bawah. Memang ada bus tadi ya Pak, sebentar Pak.
Ya, kan nggak ada mahasiswa kita kan? Coba cek Pak Upin.
Nggak ada Pak, nggak ada memang, nggak ada.
Cek Pak Upin dulu siapa itu. Teknik, kayaknya teknik. Pak Rektor mahasiswa kita. Kan tidak ada laporan ke kita, ngapain pula kita usil ya. Ngangguin orang ya kan?
Ya, maaf Bapak Ibu ya, memang di depan sana saya lihat tadi pagi ada bus begitu. Saya juga tidak tahu itu bus dari mana. Karena parkirnya di depan fakultas FBS, jadi seolah-olah itu mahasiswa FBS, kita belum tahu lagi. Nah, mungkin fakultas lain.
Tapi parkirnya kan nggak juga di areal kita, parkirnya kan di jalan.
Iya, di jalan di depan itu Pak, dekat
Kita kan nggak tahu. Itu kan ada satpam, ada apa yang melapor mau berangkat juga nggak ada FBS kan?
Nggak ada Pak.
Ya, baik, kita lanjut saja. Saya kira yang kami hormati, kami muliakan Ibu Eni Herawati PhD, ya, yang pada hari ini sengaja kita undang, ya. Kebetulan ini di penghujung bulan, ya. Saya kira mungkin untuk tahun 2021 kegiatan penutup Friday Forum ya Pak Nasir ya.
Iya Pak Dekan.
Mudah-mudahan seluruh rangkaian acara itu menjadi tonggak-tonggak yang dapat menjadi suatu yang sangat berharga ya bagi FBS, bagi asosiasi maupun bidang keilmuan khususnya kebahasaan. Selain Friday Forum untuk FBS, kita sebenarnya juga ada asosiasi yang tergabung dalam MLI dan TEPLIN ya, khusus untuk bahasa Inggris itu TEPLIN. Kebetulan untuk ketua MLI Sumatera Utara itu Ibu Profesor Minda, dan untuk ketua TEPLIN Sumatera Utara itu Ibu Dr. Masito Warni ya, rekan dua.
Terima kasih Pak Dekan.
Ya, saya kira ini bisa sinergi untuk kedepannya ya antara MLI, TEPLIN dan Friday Forum. Nah, saya kira dua organisasi penting di Indonesia ini ya, MLI dan TEPLIN yang memang di dalamnya kita harus aktif. Saya kira bisa sinergi nanti ke depannya ya, khususnya ketuanya dua-duanya itu di jurusan bahasa Inggris. Jadi memang luar biasa ini jurusan bahasa Inggris. Pada hari ini mungkin Bu Eni ya akan menyampaikan reframing literature in language learning, digital tools for student engagement and creativity. Nah, saya kira sangat aktual ya terkait dengan 4.0 dan Society 5.0 ya, bagaimana kreativitas dalam literasi maupun Society 4.0, 5.0. Saya kira mudah-mudahan di akhir penghujung 2021 ini kita mendapatkan sesuatu yang berharga di dunia pendidikan maupun bidang kebahasaan. Saya kira itu yang dapat saya sampaikan. Sekali lagi terima kasih kepada Poetic Forum, jurusan Bahasa dan Sastra Inggris, dan seluruh komponen yang selalu giat melaksanakan kegiatan Friday Forum ini. Saya akhiri, billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi.
Terima kasih Pak Dekan.
Terima kasih Pak Dekan yang sudah membuka acara ini, berkenan membuka acara ini. Untuk itu mungkin bisa saya ingatkan sedikit bahwa di akhir acara nanti ada dari penyampaian informasi dari pengelola Teflin yang baru, ya mungkin yang baru nih Bu ya, Ibu Dr. Masito Warni Siregar MID, untuk bagaimana kebermanfaatan dari Teflin itu sendiri. Jadi mohon semuanya berkenan untuk mendengarkan apa-apa yang mungkin kegunaannya untuk kita juga sih nantinya sebagai guru-guru ataupun dosen-dosen bahasa Inggris ataupun alumni semuanya yang berkecimpung dalam dunia bahasa Inggris ini. Nanti mungkin di akhir acara. Untuk itu tidak berpanjang lebar, saya serahkan kepada Ibu Moderator, Ibu Winda Setiasari M.Hum PhD. Ya. Pada Ibu saya persilakan.
Oke.
Terima kasih.
Iya, terima kasih Bang Nasir. Terima kasih tadi Bapak Rektor sudah, Bapak Dekan sudah membuka acara kita. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning.
Yes. Welcome
good morning,
to
Miss.
yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Friday Forum. Yeah. So live from English Department, Faculty of Language and Art, University Negeri Medan. We hope the broadcast continue to find you and your family safe and well. Ibu Bapak, I'm so delighted to be here as moderator in this lovely morning, and I should express my gratitude to all the participants who join us by Zoom today. Yeah. Let me say just one or two words, not one or two words, to open this Friday Forum. Literature has been proven as a great tool to approach English language learning. So literature get you closer to the language, to the culture, and it is always a way of learning how to read and write, right? Yeah. And teachers should make literature interesting for students, triggering their engagement and activity. And of course, today's teachers and language instructor need to develop their digital literacy to enhance the language learning itself. Seperti kata Pak Dekan tadi, to welcome 4.0 and 5.0's academic setting. And electronic learning is one of the innovations emerging in this 2 decade, Ibu Bapak. And this digital learning provide a way to learn something through a device or media. Some ways have been established to reframe literature in language learning. So, ladies and gentlemen, with us here today, Bu Heni Herawati will share some insight about reframing literature in language learning to build student engagement and creativity. Good morning, Mbak Heni. Yeah, Mbak Heni, Bu Heni from where? Far away from Jogja. Thank you very much for your coming today and joining us. Okay, Ibu Bapak, let me introduce you all to Ibu Heni a bit. Yeah, Mbak Heni Herawati, PhD, is a full-time lecturer at English Language Education Study Program Universitas Sanata Dharma, Yogyakarta. Now she is also a vice head of English Language Education Study Program. Yeah, she must, you know, she's really busy. I keep contacting her, reminding her today about today. But thank you very much, Bu Heni. Yeah. And Bu Heni attained doctoral degree at Faculty of English Education, Monash University, Australia. And her research interest and expertise are in creativity, creative writing, and literature in language learning. Dealing with our topic today, Ibu Bapak, I may inform you that Bu Heni has published articles and book chapters, yeah, and one of the latest book chapter entitled Learners as Story Writers, EFL Creative Writing Practice in Indonesia, yeah, published by Springer, Singapore. You know, Bu Heni got a bunch of publication, but it is quite impossible for me to mention one by one. This is the recent publication, yeah. And Bu Heni also engaged in her creative publication. Yeah, I have one of her poetry collection. Yeah. And 2 of her recent creative works are in the form of illustration of fignotes. Jadi mahasiswa yang sudah familiar dengan fignotes, please Google Bu Heni Herawati ya. Entitled Roller Coaster 4 Musim, cerita mahasiswa Indonesia meraih PhD di Australia. And another one is the ini ya Mbak, your first poetry collection, yeah, Puisi Laci, a collections of poems. So, Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are now moving to the core of today's forum. But before we start, I would like to inform you that you can just type your question at the chat box, yeah, during speaker presentation, and at the end of the talk we will have a Q&A answer session. Bu Heni, the mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Bu Winda. Thank you for the very nice introduction. I miss you. We were in the same class.
Yes.
We were in the same class when taking master's degree. And it's been a long time since I last met her in person. So the Honorable Dean of FBS, Bapak Dr. Abdurrahman Adi Saputra, Bapak Dr. Muhammad Nasir, Ketua Friday Forum, and Bapak Ibu Pejabat Jurusan and Program Studi Bahasa Inggris. Thank you so much. It's indeed an honor to be invited in this Friday Forum webinar. I guess from the explanation from Bapak Nasir and Pak Abdurrahman, it's been a very good practice, I guess, there. So it's really a good chance for me to meet you all this morning. So, as previously mentioned by Buwinda, in this presentation, I'll be sharing my experiences and practices related to creative writing and also reframing literature and language learning. So may I share my screen? Please allow me to share my screen now.
Host? Yeah.
Buwinda, do you see the full screen? Sorry.
Yes, it's crystal clear.
All right. Okay. So and can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes. It's a very nice morning here. Usually it's raining, but not today. So I hope the connection is good. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, thank you so much once again. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I hope we can have a good discussion later related to the topic that I'm going to talk about today, that is reframing literature and language learning, digital tools to enhance students' engagement and creativity. So in this presentation, I will begin with my attempt to understand the current context of literature, which then led me to the thought that I need to reframe my understanding on the kinds of literature I should explore with students and the way I use it. And then I'd like to explore the shift from being a reader of literature to a writer. Afterwards, I'm going to share some practices using digital tools that I have done so far. Actually, I belong to this generation, Generation X, as you know. I belong to the floppy disk and cassette generation, people say. And I've been struggling to keep up with much younger colleagues, and of course, also with my students who are the Zoomers. If we refer to this diagram, there is a quite wide gap between me, the Generation X, and my students, Generation Z. I believe in the audience also there are some students. I think you belong to this Z generation or the Zoomers. But I also believe as teachers, we have to be adaptive and creative and trying to understand our students, especially their unique learning styles and interests belong to the Zoomers generation. So if you were born between 1995 or 96 up to 2015 approximately, then you belong to this Generation Z. And Generation Z are digital natives. This generation has been raised on the internet and social media, while on the contrary, as a digital immigrant, I have to adapt and practice digital technologies to keep up with them. So I'm a digital immigrant and they are digital natives. It's very easy for them to use technology, but I have to learn, and I think all teachers should also try to keep up with our students. So this is my mom. She's 74 this year, and she loves reading novels and always asks me or my sister to bring her some novels. But recently, she has shifted to this one. So she has shifted to the digital form of story. One day she showed me the terbung she got in her WhatsApp group. And now she enjoys the new way of reading stories. she doesn't have to wait for me, coming to her house carrying novels. Now she gets the cerbung almost every day, okay, from friends. So even my mom now also shifted from print to digital. So this is this awareness on the inevitable digital transformation also made me think that I need to reframe my view and practices on literature learning. With the advancement of technology, literary works are more accessible now. Ebooks provided by numerous websites have given free access to literary works. So when I was young, it was so difficult to get a book. Even sometimes I had to line up in the library because there's only like 2 copies of the novel. So I had to wait for, several weeks to get it. Now it's very easy to get. There are also many other websites that students and teachers can access to read literary works, not just the canons people say, but also, world literature. Technologies have changed and continue to transform literary production, including the emergence of digital literature. And digital literature is a form of literature born in the digital world. It is meant to be read online, and it emerged as a response to the present day when people love reading actually, but do not have much time to read. So it fits the digital media platform. And of course, mostly enjoyed by young people who love reading, but do not have much time to read. So according to Simon Grove, the intention of digital literature is to showcase innovation and creativity in storytelling for digital media and new directions in contemporary literary practice informed by technology. Now, I'd like to ask you this question. Have you ever read a short story on Twitter, a poem on Instagram, a text story on your social media, or seen a video poem on YouTube? Would you please share your experience? It's just one question, yes or no. Please go to this link. Bu Winda, would you do me a favor?
Yes. But everybody in the chat box, there's a link here. You just need to click it and answer only yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
so
you
we
can-
invite your participation, everybody, please. That I have typed the link in a chat box. Yeah. Yeah. Tinggal klik aja.
Thank you.
Ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen. Yeah.
Yes, and or you can scan the barcode if you want.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Anna. Everybody.
Yes. Let me stop sharing for a moment just to check what we get, Bu Winda.
Yeah. Okay. Just click the link. All you need is just to answer yes or no, everybody.
Yes, thank you. I
Ma'am,
see
thank
now.
you.
Don't
Okay, thank you, Bapak
26
Ibu.
responses
Thank you,
so
dear.
far. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Muna. Yes. Yeah. Are the answer coming back?
Yes.
Yes.
20,
Okay.
oh, no, 33 now. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. So
Yes.
I'm going to just.
Thank you, Nazla. Okay. Yes.
All right. Do you see my screen? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So that's so far the responses. Thank you for participating. Yes, and it's okay. Just one no, but there are 49 yes there. Okay, that's very good. Let me go back to my slide. Okay, so even though this is still going up, okay, I just capture this result a few, maybe 2 minutes ago, but it's still coming, going up. So yes, so actually we have read what we call digital literature, okay, because short story on Twitter or Twitter and a poem on Instagram and a text story on your social media, or watching a video poem on YouTube, those are considered as digital literature. Another example of a digital literature is flash fiction. You probably also have read this one. It's a short story. Okay, it's even shorter. It's shorter than a short story. It's around 300, sometimes shorter than 300 words long, and it's a bit longer than microfiction. Microfiction is a very short one. Flash fiction is a bit longer than that. And short stories usually 3,000 to 5,000 words, preferred by most magazines. Okay, so this one is a very short one. Now, a flash fiction is usually a story of a single act, okay, and sometimes the culmination of several unwritten events. So this is an example of a digital literature in which you can just wait in a queue or sit in a bus and then have your phone reading this flash fiction. So just one sit and then it's done. But it has the aspects and all the elements of literary works. This is one example, The Comedian, but you can find many flash fictions nowadays in these two links, and also some other websites. Another example of digital literature is text stories. I found it very interesting. First time it popped up in my Facebook account. Okay, so it's on the wall. And then I was curious, what is it? And so I followed that. I tried to understand, oh, it's like a chat. So it's like group chats. Okay, sometimes chats of two persons, but it forms a story. So this is an text stories is a popular episodic web series driven entirely by screen capturing group chats. So it's like group chats, and then it is in a form of like a short video, a snippet, only around 2 to 3 minutes in length. But when so you read through the chats, and then from the chats we can get the story. So that's another interesting one, and it's if you just type text stories on the browser, then you can get lots and lots of text stories. Another popular one is micro poetry or Insta poems. Some people say it fits the space to be presented in Instagram. So this is one example of a famous poet, Rupi Kaur. Besides publishing her poem in printed books, she also published in her Instagram. And it's very interesting because it's, you know, this is micro poems because it's very short, but it is, you know, with these few words, the poet tell more. Okay, that's what's creative and what's challenging about writing a micro poem, because you only use fewer words, but you tell more. So this is another example. I guess some of you, maybe students, have come across this Rupi Kaur or other poets on Instagram. Now, why do we read digital literature? Why? In addition to reading literary works in the conventional format, students, I think, should also be encouraged to read and explore this digital kind of literature. Why? It is, I think, first, because it's more engaging, okay, to Generation Z. Second, to foster the students' reading interest and open perspectives on the use of English in creative writing, and to incite students' creativity to play with the language and write in this genre. So, of course, we can still ask them to write, you know, not in the digital format, but encouraging them or engaging them with this kind of literature writing is interesting. And I think I found, at least I found my students were very excited when having to, you know, write this kind of literature. So this brings me to the next point in my sharing today. There are questions and doubts on its feasibility, and maybe the benefits of writing stories, poems, and other literary forms for EFL learners, and whether it is possible to be done. So I think this thought on from reading to writing links or involves the next question that I want to ask you. Do you think it is important, maybe this one's for students, not for the lectures, do you think it is important for writers to read? Can you give me a sign? Do you think it is important for writers to read? I cannot see the, you know, the audience, Buwinda. Are there people? Yeah. Are there responses already?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes. Well, everybody, do you think it is important for writers to read? Just raise your hand. Do you think it's important for writers to read?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Give me a sign.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Surely, yes, yeah. Yes, you can write. You cannot write without reading.
Yes, exactly. So, and you know, according to Pam Alin, I quoted her here, reading is like breathing in and writing is like breathing out.
Ah,
And
interesting.
yeah, interesting analogy, right? Breathing in and breathing out. Now, this is from reading to writing and from writing to reading. Let me quote Professor Nation's statement here that about the connection between reading and writing. Reading is the input and writing is the output. And if learners notice that there is something they do not know when writing, they later read like a writer. So they will read like a writer, giving attention to how others say what they wanted to say. In other words, learning from established writers. So sometimes we want to, because it's natural, because English is not our mother tongue, we find it sometimes, you know, we're struggling. We find challenges in expressing the way we want. Okay, and so we can learn from writers, established writers as well, how to do that. So like how to write a vivid description, how to use the metaphors, for instance, to convey feelings, for instance. So we can learn by reading the literary works like a writer. And once writing, this is another interesting point that I learned from Professor Nation. Once writing, which is the output, can be another's reading or input. In other words, a student's writing can, or a student's short story or poem can be another student's reading. So this is very interesting, and it also builds confidence because they have readers, okay, among their classmates as well. And as writers are not writers unless they have readers, people say. So by doing that, by sharing their writings to other students or to public even, then they can build confidence as users of the language as well. And reading can improve writing, writing can improve reading, according to Dr. Willy Renandia as well. And if we look at the four strands theory, that there should be balanced opportunities for learning across the four strands. And reading is actually learning the language through using the language receptively, and writing is learning the language through using the language productively. So receptively and productively, like in the previous slide, also input and output. So I guess I should address this to students. Whatever our writing interest may be, fiction or non-fiction, literary novels or specialist articles, poems or drama, we should read anything and everything in our chosen genre. If you are interested, if you are more into writing short stories, then read stories or novels and read with a writer's eye. Now, how about creative writing in the ESL or EFL pedagogy? There have been studies conducting on the use of creative writing. I guess this is not something new as well. Teachers have been using creative writing in teaching and in in the process of learning the language. Let me quote some studies here. The first one is creative writing can develop students' language mastery, as it requires learners to play with the language to create a new, unique, and personal meaning. And creative writing encourages learners to explore, manipulate, and take risks with the language. You know, this is manipulate and take risks with the language. And when doing so, learners develop their grammar, vocabulary, phonology, and discourse, because they want to write, they want to express something. And while doing so, they find ways. Okay, if they don't have the vocabularies, they try to find the vocabularies. If they are not very sure on the use, then they find out. Okay, so they develop also into active learners. Creative writing could enhance students' socio-cultural competence and linguistic proficiency, because central to creative writing was the use of figurative and metaphorical language, which indicated a higher language competence and the ability to express and communicate feelings and emotions in showing, not direct telling manner. Okay, so this is a higher level of language. But it doesn't mean that only students with higher English mastery can do creative writing. We can do creative writing with, say elementary school students even. Okay, with children we can also do that. Hello. Yes. Okay. So creative writing develops students' affective aspects in relation to the use of language, such as in expressing feelings, emotions, and intuitions creatively. So in sum, creative writing promotes language learning. It nurtures creativity in using the target language. It provides a space and freedom for students' expressions. It develops voice and fosters self-image construction in students' writing, and it humanizes and empowers learners. Empowers because they can then choose. It doesn't mean that English is more or is superior. No, it's just that they have the freedom to choose whether to write in Indonesian language or in their mother tongue. I mean, maybe if the mother tongue is not Indonesian, like me, Japanese, or I can also choose to write in English. So it empowers me, for instance, to do that, as to choose the language that I want to use to express my feelings and thoughts, for instance, and creativity. So what is creativity actually? Now, I'd like to invite you again to answer this question. What comes to your mind when you hear the word creative or creativity? Buinda,
Okay, yes.
do me a favor. Yes, I
Yeah,
think
everybody.
thank you.
I have typed as well the link for the second question from our speakers, to Bu Henny. Just click and answer them.
Yes.
Answer
I
the
think
questions.
you have to input like 3 words.
Yeah,
or
3
phrases.
words. Yeah. So what comes to your mind when you hear the word creative or creativity? So please enter 3 words and submit it. Yeah. Everybody, I invite you to click the link. Yeah. To join a www.manticom. Okay.
Okay, I got some already.
Nice.
Nice. Yes.
Okay.
Coming in.
Yes. Just click the link.
Yes.
And yeah.
I'll share the result later when more of the audience have posted.
Blue sky in Jogja, Mbak?
Yes. Yes, today.
Okay.
Looks nice outside.
Medan is gloomy.
Oh, really? Usually it's raining in the afternoon here.
Okay.
Okay, very nice. I started to take some
Thank you, Puspita.
shade. All right.
Everybody, just click the link. It's not that difficult. Yeah, thank you, Maria. Bu Neni is there. Bu Neni, click the link. What do you think of creativity? Miss you, darling. Srinitami, thank you. Okay, yeah.
Do you see my screen? Winda, do you
Yes,
see my
yeah,
screen?
yes.
Yes, so it started to, okay, very nice, you see. So if you see the results, what comes to your mind when you hear the word creative or creativity? The bigger the font, and usually it's in the middle, it means that the word has been, mentioned by more participants. Okay, so like this one, imagination. So words that are related to creative or creativity, there are many there. Let me read some. Imagination and creativity is related to idea, to innovative or innovation, and to new. Okay, that's it. That's very good. New and something new. Open-minded, amazing, out of the box. What else here? You see the piece of art. Okay, so you see creativity. Okay, new. So I see some words started to, get bigger, like imagination, idea, innovation, something new. So these words are keywords. It means that words that emerge in your mind, in the participant's mind, when hearing the word creative or creativity. Let me go back to my slide. Thank you so much for participating. Let me go back to my slide again. Do you see my screen, Buinda?
Yes, Mbak. Yeah.
Yes. So as you know here, this is I captured this one just a moment ago. So this is not the last one. The last one, you can go to the link and see the updated result, but pretty much the same. So we have these words: imagination, idea, new, imaginative idea. So those are out of the box here. So those are words that are related to creative and creativity. Now I remember Professor Alan Mally's poem. Okay, I really love this one, and I often quote this one in my class. The title is Outside. outside the box. It is probably a bit too small for you, so I'll try to read out quickly. Outside the box. Being inside the box was comfortable, warm and cozy. We curled up with cushions of routine, weighted with words, blanketed by books, swaddled in certainties. A bit stuffy perhaps, and we sometimes felt cramped, but never mind. We were so used to it that it felt normal. And as I said, comfortable. Out here, we are exposed and cold winds blow. We need to hold on tight, keep our eyes open for sudden snow squalls, hidden crevices. It is a precarious existence now, but here we can move and breathe, see clear to the far horizon. And if we come to a cliff, we know we can step off it into empty air, trusting it to bear us up. We have no fear of falling. So this really tells us about being outside the box, being creative, that it needs courage, Owen. It's like standing on the cliff and then we dare to jump, because it might be different, okay? So, and life, it might be challenging as well. So, and it's not easy sometimes. So this describes what it takes to be creative as well. But if you go back to the poem, it works. Okay, so even though it's challenging, it's not easy. Maybe it's easier to be settled. I mean, to be inside the box because it's not windy. But still, you can see the view from outside. So if you see the highlighted words that I put here in the quotations, those are words that are mentioned by you as well. So like novel means new, ideas, and then connections, what else? Original, I don't remember whether you mentioned original or not, but usually original, different, innovative, or innovation. So those are the words that are related to creativity. Hang on. Okay. So there are also, if we refer to theory, there are 6 aspects of the investment theory of creativity. I'm not going to explain about the theory, but just for our reminders that once creativity influenced by these aspects, okay, intellectual abilities, the styles of thinking, motivation, our knowledge, our personality, and the environment. Environment means the environment that encourage creativity. So I think as teachers also we have to create environment that can build, that can foster our students' creativity. Another interesting and important point about creativity is that it's not black and white. It's not that someone is creative or not creative. It's a continuum. So creativity is a skill that can be developed, of course, with practice and with feedback. Feedback from, according to the theory, it's feedback from the expert companion. And the expert companion in the context of the language classroom very probably are the teachers. Okay, so expert companions. The teachers can give feedback and then they can develop creativity. So how about in language? If, for instance, I give you 5 words, exactly the same words, and then I ask you to write a poem, will you come up with exactly the same poems? Of course not. Okay, so you may come up with different themes even though the words are the same. So language here enables us to create new associations, playful combinations, and new meanings. And this is what is called by creativity in language. So it's not that we probably can invent words, but more importantly is how we use even daily words or words that learners have acquired to create new meaning. So that's why I mentioned previously that not necessarily that only students with higher mastery of the language can do creative writing. Even students with maybe limited vocabulary, still we can get them engaged in a kind of creative writing, of course, with different levels. Now, how can we do this? How to practice creative writing? First, we can embed creative writing in other courses. Embed means that if we don't have this course stands by itself, maybe we can insert that in other courses. You probably have done this practice as well. But first, let me go back to the meaning of creative writing. Creative writing means creating an imaginative, original literary production or composition. And anything where the purpose is to express thoughts, feelings, and emotions rather than to simply convey information. Okay, and Mali here, Professor Alan Mali also stated that creative writing is the production of texts which have an aesthetic rather than a purely informative, instrumental, or pragmatic purpose. So go back to how we can practice, how we can use creative writing. The first one is by embedding creative writing activity in other courses. This is what I have done. I used this is, I term that one creative reflection. According to Tracy, creative reflection challenges the action-reflection dichotomy of reflective practice and extends reflection beyond cognitive retrospective models to encompass the exploration of possibility through play, image making, writing, action methods, and storytelling. Now, why we do that? I think students need to connect with what they read emotionally. So after they read a novel or a poem, I think they need to connect with what they read and make them meaningful by relating what they read with their life. So I guess besides, asking students to do analysis like literary analysis, intrinsic analysis or extrinsic analysis, after those steps, we should also ask them to reflect, to make, to ask them to connect with the text, with the story or the poem. And students need to express their thoughts and feelings after reading novels or other texts. And using the words students found in the books or articles they read will enhance their understanding of their meanings and usage. Most likely these words will be retained in their storage if they use them. Okay, so if they read words in, in a novel or in a short story or in an article, for instance, and then they use the words, then I think we all agree that the words will be retained in their memory longer. So this is one example that I did. This is not my creative writing class. This is from my reading class. So basic reading, actually, basic reading class. And then we read, students read this speech from Steve Jobs. Okay, you've got to find what you love. This is the speech by Steve Jobs. And after reading the article, the speech, then I asked them to reflect. Okay, reflect on what they learned from, on what they think and what they feel, and students express their reflection in the form of a poem. So this is poetic reflection. So sometimes this one was written by a student. I actually put the name there, and she doesn't mind. So I have asked her. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick, rejected, devastated, failure, but don't lose faith. Don't run away. The best thing that could happen that in the worst period of life can create a remarkable turn. It's like awful tasting medicine, but patient needed it. Keep going, keep looking, don't settle, believe. So I think, and she's using some of the words from the article, but to convey her understanding of the article in a form of poem. This is another poem, also the same text, okay, same article, but different poem. You see, the focus is different. Love and loss. Love, one word but thousand meaning of happiness. When you fall in love, you would feel tired to chase something that steals your heart. So find what you love and you will walk on air. Loss, one word but thousand meaning of sadness. You have to be ready all the time. When you're ready to fall in love, you have to know how to deal with loss. So again, this student focuses on love and loss. The previous one a bit different. Okay, so it's about the failure, that you have to stand strong, you have to be tough. Okay, so same article, but then we, you know, a bit different reflection, and the reflection is in a form of poem. So we can do the same. We can embed creative writing in reflection. This one is literary course, so it's a prose class. We read Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and then this is the, I asked them also to write a poem as the reflection. Okay, and your poem may reflect how you relate GLS's Jonathan Livingston Seagull story with your life. You may also relate it with the current COVID-19 pandemic, because this was like last year. So when the pandemic started, and then we had to suddenly shift it to, we have to shift to the online mode. And then, you know, I think they can relate as well with the current situation at that time. There are other activities as well that we can do, like candid writing, challenging students to write impulsively for about 10 minutes when given prompts. And the prompts can be books they have read or words taken from the books they have read. Or bookmarks, bookmarks taken from the, so it can be quotations or their own impressions about the book, and then they created the bookmarks. Now this one, the example, the third one at the bottom, that one is a found poem. So a found poem is writing a poem on any non-poetic text. So the text, the original text, that one is about astronomy, I think. So it's about sporadic meteors, fireballs, boulders. I found this text in my son's book. Okay, astronomy is for dummies, I guess. So this one is non-poetic text, but we can ask students to identify, you know, like a found poem mean finding a poetic, you know, poetic lines within the text that are not poetic. Okay, like this one. So I'll show you some more examples of this later. So just quickly jot down, this one is maybe for students, probably my students often ask me, I actually want to write a story or a poem, but I don't know what to write about. Okay, how to get the idea, how to get the inspiration to write. Now, the first one that you can do is probably by watching the world go by. Actually, everything is around you. So observing surroundings. observe the people and the world around you. Not only should you watch, you must also listen. Tell me, Buwinda, I think writers are eavesdroppers.
Yes, yes, indeed, eavesdroppers.
So one of the students in my research last time told me that she enjoyed, going home from campus, taking public transportation rather than riding her own motorbike, because on the public transportation, she could like eavesdrop conversations from the passengers, and then when listening to the dialogues, then her mind also play with that, okay, also play with what might happen. So the next one is keeping an eye on the media, like quirky programs or unusual stories or obituaries, even headlines, or someone's Facebook status can be an inspiration. Or drawing from memory, of course, looking back into your past, reimagining experiences. This is a very resourceful, you don't have to tell everything, I mean, like the real happening, but this can actually incite inspirations to a particular topic, okay, of your short story or poem. Mind play with your mind. What if? Play I wonder, and let your mind wander. Okay, so these are this deals with imagination, of course. Okay, so nurture your imagination. Or if you have no clue, still you can learn from a model poem, like a favorite story or a favorite poem. Like this one, of course, everyone knows, Robert Burns' Red Rose. Then there are a lot of like similes. So if I want students to learn about how to use this device, language device, then asking them to write or to use this as a model. And this is probably one of the students' poem. My love is like a tree, evergreen, as you can see. When you are loved by me, I can make you happy. So you see, my love is like a tree. I give you oxygen for free, even though you can't see. My love is like a tree. So I think it's simple, it's interesting, yet he was able to use the language to convey meaning and to use the simile, which is a language device in literature. So let me move to the next topic, that is how we can use this technology, or people say digital tools or educational technology, to enhance engagement and creativity. I'm not a tech savvy, as I mentioned previously. I'm from Generation Z, but I'm learning, and then I ask people around me. I often bothered, my younger colleagues, asking them like, I want to do this, but I don't know how. Okay, so I want this to be like that, but I don't know how. Do you have any idea about the apps or any platform that I can use? So keep asking those who know better than me. So what I'm going to share here, I think simple, because I can do this. Probably you have a more advanced experience and practice than me. So first, as I mentioned previously, students will develop confidence when their writings are displayed or read by other people, and they gain more, confidence. So we can actually use our personal Facebook or Twitter to publish flash fictions and poems. Poems can also be regularly published in the class Instagram. You can create an Instagram account for your class. I do that. We have one for my creative writing class. We can use Google Doc or Padlet for collaborative writing or peer reviewing short stories. We can use Canva or Isu or other graphic design platforms to create a digital book showcasing the flash fictions and poems. We can use the text story maker. So the text stories that I showed you previously, we can create that one by using an app. So application on smartphone. So it's very easy to download and it's free. To create text stories that are uploaded on YouTube. You can choose, students can choose unlisted, so only among them can see. So for instance, this is collaborative writing, writing a short story, and they like work together to develop the story. These are some snapshots of screenshots of the pages in our class IG. Again, it's you can see that those are micro poems. So they can be displayed on the Instagram, but not only micro poems, also like other poems like haikus and other kinds of poems. This one is concrete poems that take shapes of the shapes of the object. Okay, acrostic poems. Now let me inform you that these are all done by students. They are the admins of the IG, so that's why they can make it very nice. I actually cannot, so I learned from them. So also digital poetry portfolio. This is portfolio showcases students' individual poems they wrote. We can use Canva or Isu, and if you are not familiar with that, students can do that much better. And remember, they are from generation Z, so they know what to do. Now let me show you one of the digital book that we, I think I have to stop share and show you from the link. I guess this one. Yeah. Just a moment. Do you see it on my screen, Poetry Land? Yes. So this is using issue. Okay, so this is like a book. So they work in a group and then they created this compilation. So I think it's very nice because not just that they show creativity in writing, but also the creativity in technology and using technology, which is very, the skills that are also needed nowadays, you see. And so you can use this one, Isu, or other platforms as well. Now, yeah. So there are applications are on website like this one, poem generator. Then you can
write the slide.
Oh,
I mean, we can't see the slide.
Oh, you can't see the slide.
PowerPoint, yes, yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Yes, it's coming. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Let me. Okay. So this is one example, poem generator, but I don't recommend this. I don't use this for my creative writing class, actually. This is interesting to be used with students, I mean, like younger students, because it can, you know, they just input, they learn the vocabularies. So they input the words. For instance, if they want to write about a cat, and then they have to key in like some words related to cat, adjectives that they want to, you know, be in the, they want to put in the poem, that describe the cats, for instance, cute, or, you know, brown, or, you know, those words that they want to put in the poem. And then they like, this is, of course, this is, you know, by system, okay, but still it doesn't, it cannot be compared with human. I have tried and it doesn't make sense, okay, so but it's fun with younger students, you know, that they key in some words and then they pop up with a poem, with acrostic or concrete poems. But for adult or, you know, older students, in which they need to express a particular kind of feeling, then it's better to, you know, to use their own, okay, to create their own rather than using this app. So this is the example that I mentioned previously, like cat, and then a noun, a color, a size, 3 more adjectives related to the cat. So just key in the words. So this is good for language learning for younger students, I guess. And this is the result. Okay, like a small black cat, and then so a concrete poem. Okay, a poem that takes the shape of the object. Now, how about if we want to do, we want to write a text story. Now, there are some steps. First, incite inspiration for a chat story by recalling stories they have read, or drawing from experience, or continuing a particular kind of story. So they can work together like in pairs or in a group of 3, and then, you know, jot down the idea first for the story. And then they can draft the chats to create a story, like storyboard, and then peer review the draft and revise it, usually because it's in a form of conversations. But we have to remember that this is chats, okay, not real face-to-face conversations. Sometimes people forget, okay. So imagine that these are chats, like when they chat with, when students chats with their friends. Download the app. It's very easy. You can use texting story or chat maker or text story maker, very fast, and they can, it's free also. And they can learn how to use it to create a chat story. Create the story and download the 2 to 3 minute video snippet. It's just 2 or 3 minutes. I'll show you later. So this is one example of how it looks. Texting story, chat story maker. So you can edit background, you can use the conversation, you can choose whether it's between 2 persons or 3 persons, and you can give names and the background music as well. Okay, so just to add to the video. This is an example of my students' text story. These are the steps. Okay, so when you click the video, then it's like the first chat and then answered with this. Let me see if I can show the video. Otherwise, you can go to the link later and to watch it yourself. But I guess if I'm not sure, maybe I can hang on.
I think you can share the screen, but yes, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming, right? Okay, yes. But not sure about the sound. I hope you can also, let me see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear the sound as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
like typing, right?
Yes.
Jin, help me. What? I think you've been asleep. Come here quick. Someone's breaking into my house. I've called Marisa and the police, but my phone can't connect the call. It's weird. How do you know? You must be sleepwalking again. So these are the chats, okay, between two friends actually. It can be like in the family with mother and the, mom and dad and the 3 kids, for instance. Okay, so you can go to, if you are curious about what's happening in the story, you can go to the link later. Okay, so let me go back to my slide again. Oh, no. This one. Okay. So related to the attack, we have to. It's a study and ethical practice of facilitating learning and improving performance by creating, using, and managing appropriate technological processes and resources. Okay, basically that's just information about what is meant by edutech. Now, I'd like to invite some students to write, but this is how it works. This is the task. Please write a poem. A short poem will do that includes all the words in one set. So the one on the left or the one on the right. So if you take the one on the left, then you have to include all in the set. Okay, so a tombstone, a yellow ribbon, and a dragonfly. And the second set is a pitch dark room, a hub, and the smell of jasmine. All right. Now, after you write later, so this is a 10-minute writing. 10-minute writing means you have to write it in 10 minutes. Okay, like the name.
Hello, guys. Yeah, but we have some of the English literature students here from my poetry musicalization class, please.
Wow.
10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Buwinda.
Yeah, do they have to download the Padlet?
Padlet, no, they just need to go to the link and then post so go to the link. Maybe I can.
Yeah, but can you type the link in the chat box, please?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I haven't, right? I haven't sent it to you.
Yeah, no, you didn't send me earlier.
Okay.
That's okay. Yeah, we are waiting for you guys. Jangan sampai Mem Winda pula yang turun tangan ya. Nanti segan pula.
Okay, so I'm
good.
Yes. The link. And let me show you the page of the okay. So maybe I can show first in case you haven't have you ever used Padlet before? Oh yes, I think someone is already in here, so you can see.
Okay.
Now you can click this one, the icon here at the bottom, and then you can double click, or you can actually publish, okay? Or you can actually get a sticker note. Okay, you can get a sticker note as well and then post. Okay, now while waiting for this one, probably I will show quickly before I can end this.
But Andy, maybe you need to share the words, the two set of the words.
The what? words
yeah,
again.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I'm afraid.
Sure. Yes, of course. Let me.
There are two sets. Yeah.
On.
Yes. So everybody, we have a thumbstone, a yellow ribbon, and a dragonfly. Another set of words: a pitch dark room, a heart, and the smell of jasmine. I bet. Maria, we have Glendy here. We have Maria Clarissa, why not? And ibu-ibu, bapak-bapak juga boleh coba. Why not ini? A tombstone, a yellow ribbon, and a dragonfly.
Yeah. Okay, if you have taken the snapshot, just a snapshot of the words, then I can move to the next, and just let them write, Buwinda, and then I will just end this. Okay, so these are some examples of the found poem. Maybe some other time we can have a try. So see, it's like a combination of art as well. So this is our class IG. You can have a visit later, creative writing _ PBE. Maybe we can have like collaborative writing with the students. So some key takeaways here before I end my presentation, Buwinda. Literature in English language learning should also include digital literature genre. And as language learners can go beyond readers' role and have a go as writers. Employing digital tools wisely can enhance student engagement with the creative writing practice and can boost their creativity and confidence as writers. And creative writing and social media provide a platform for self-expression and connectedness. We need to be selective. Go back to the word connectedness. I found that this helps a lot, Bapak Ibu, with when students have to stay at home during the pandemic, and then they felt very isolated and they miss their friends. And when they have the platform to express their feelings, then it's like a way of making sense of the situation and make them stronger, even because their feelings are shared by others through poems. And we need to be selective with the digital tools we want to use with our students and ensure that we facilitate them to learn and develop their skills we aim to develop. I guess that's all my presentation, Buwinda and Bapak Ibu and teman-teman mahasiswa. Thank you so much for having me. I would love to have more discussion with you, and I'm waiting for the poem to be posted on the Padlet.
Thank you, Mbak Heni. That it was so fruitful and insight discussion. We actually will start next semester, Pak Indra and Bu Julie in our Prodi. We have a certain a new class which is called digital literature, and your explanations and your material today, just really beneficial, really meaningful for next semester preparation. Unfortunately, we don't have creative writing class, but still some lectures insert materials in the prose class or poetry class. We have prose fictions actually. So so everybody, let me sum up that I don't think we need to sum up it, because we have some question here, Mbak Heni, from Pak Tom. So in a chat box, everybody, you can raise your hand if things are popping up in your mind. I wonder which one should prefer be achieved first on writing to reading, or vice versa? So if so, what do you think of the man who get lack of vocabulary should get many vocabulary to get much more efficacy? Okay, Bu Heni, do you understand Pak Tom's question?
Not yet. Maybe I should.
Yeah. So maybe I can clarify a bit which one should, be more emphasized, writing or reading, or vice versa, reading and writing. And what about if we are lack of vocabulary? Yeah. So this is a very classical problem, but still it happens, right? But yeah. And number two, Pak Tom has two questions today. Yeah, thank you, Pak Tom. Is there anything to do with the failure and the efficacy on those? Yeah, who are getting less, lack of vocabulary. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Itu dulu, Mbak. Kayaknya ada lagi nih pertanyaannya. Yang dari yang lain. Yes.
Okay. All right. So is it like reading first or writing first? Is that
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
I think they go together, but when naturally, if it's a new language, I mean a language that we learn, then we need something first, right? We need input first. So we need to like it in a simple word, like we need the vocabularies first before we can use the vocabularies. So I guess reading and also writing, they go together, but I think reading, reading comes first in some ways, okay, because we need input. Students also need input first, at least a bit, and then they can use the vocabularies, for instance, to write. Is it answering the question, the first question, Pak Toms? Thank you for the question. That's a very...
Yeah, thank you, Miss Henny Hawat.
Okay.
And also about the lack of vocabulary, that's a very classic, I mean, classic in a way that many students and even us still have the same problem.
Yeah.
But as I think we have the, the, how to say, the benefits of being non-native, non-native teachers, okay, non-native of English,
learners.
because we are also ESL learners or EFL learners and writers, you see, so second language writers. So we are struggling as well. Sometimes even now, if I want to write a poem in English, then I still cannot find the word. That's not the word. The word that is in my mind, that's not the word that I want. So I will try to, search for the words. Maybe not now. Maybe tomorrow I can find it. Maybe the day after. So I think that's a process of learning as well, Pak Toms, where when like challenging students to write something, they will learn in the process. So there is a research done by Tan Pitin. She found that asking students to write with a lot of restrictions, so like a lot of restrictions like in poems that haiku with some number of syllables, or there are some rhymes that they have to follow, then it's good in a way that they will develop the language, because they will explore the language, they try to play with the language, they learn because they want to find the right word to write the poem, for instance. So by doing so, they also develop vocabularies. So sometimes we are worried that how can I ask them to write a poem? They have still limited vocabularies. But actually, while doing so, while writing the poem, they learn. They develop their vocabularies. I hope.
Hello.
Yes, I hope that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Pak Lidiman?
Oh yeah. It's my turn.
Okay. Thank you, Pak. Please, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm very much concerned with our knowledge about literature, I thought that the presenter would also discuss the profiles of famous novelists. Okay, let me just quote one person, Isaac Asimov. He could write a novel in one day. Actually, he didn't have any training of whatever literature, but he was a scientist as well. And he loved, of course, writing because he mostly wrote about scientific articles, but he could also write science fiction. So what I mean to say is that now we have two areas. Either you teach literature, or how can you, let's say, motivate a student to become a novelist. In my experience, for example, I need to have these trends. This is a kind of emotional, intense feelings that you can focus your mind on a certain issue, whatever it is, because the brain is a creative organ of our body. It can create something out of nothing. So what I mean to say is we have to create a kind of a motivation that can lead the students to think about what is not there. And when we quote these poems, mostly in creativity, we don't apply the rhyming techniques anymore. If you compare those, I think, I don't know, it's Robert Frost or whatever, or Byrne. You see, this is also the value that is already missing. Otherwise, I think anybody can be a poet if you just talk about creativity. Like it's like you express something simple through the condensed words or expressions, but there is no rhyming anymore. So the beauty of the sound of the poem is lost. So my question is, we should also provide biographies, the background stories of those famous poets in the world, like Isaac Asimov, Robert Frost, John Steinbeck, and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pak.
Lidiman Sinaga.
Pak Lidiman Sinaga.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, Pak Lidiman Sinaga.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I agree, Pak. I think besides the digital literature, we still have to, introduce to students this great literature. If we remember the types of creativity, we have this from the mini C to the big C. So those like Robert Frost already in the big C, the big creativity area achievement. But probably the students still in the mini C or little C, they're still in developing their creativity. And I'm interested in what you said, Pa, about a scientist and then writing a novel. And then I remember a theory by Amabile in which to produce a creativity, someone also use the knowledge
fantasy or in whatever.
Like yes, not just fantasy, but also background knowledge. So any knowledge, not just in literature. So like the scientist who wrote science fiction, I believe he or she used his or her knowledge in science when writing. So that's the element, one of the element needed in creativity. So like the stories that you have, including for our students now, to make them able to write something that is unique, they have to be able to explore their culture and what they are good at. It's just about the language, but what they write about. So like exploring their culture, the uniqueness in the culture that they can show, okay, that they can show in their stories or in their poems, as well as, for instance, if someone is, I have a friend actually, and she's very, she has many talents actually. she likes writing, but also she likes cooking, and she likes making, handcrafts like bracelets from, stones and, things like that. And when writing, she used all the knowledge in cooking, for instance, in the story. So it's like when creating a story, the character there is a chef, for instance, then she used her knowledge about cooking to build the character. So I guess the ability to identify what they know and to identify their not storage, but more on the cultural or general knowledge abilities, that they explore what they have, then that is the key. Okay, so resources. Okay, so whatever resources that they have, including being bilinguals. Okay, being bilinguals, or multilinguals even, they can explore their languages and their writing in English. I hope that
I agree with you, but basically it's the way our students think. You know, the Westerners, most of them, perhaps, or all of them, think in a different way as we do.
Yes.
They have this inductive thinking, while we Eastern people apply the deductive thinking. Inductive means you go into details. So our students are often afraid of telling or going deeper into a certain topic. Like, okay, when I say, does God exist? And this question will be even more like a taboo, you know. Why do you ask about God? But when you see the writings of, let's say, American writers, they talk about God, they are free to say anything. So this is a cultural challenge for us, Ibu. Inductive thinking. I always, like to my children, I always say, okay, you can ask anything, you can talk about anything. There's no taboo. So inductive thinking means you go into details, like your student, like, okay, she's multi-talented, she knows anything about cooking or whatever. That is good. If you see all these novels, the writers can go into details, even describing. I say, ever said to my student, can you describe your eyes? They only know a few words because they seldom go into details. So inductive thinking must be emphasized in our teaching. Thank you.
Yes, I completely agree. Yes, thank you so much,
Okay.
Pa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pa.
Sure,
Yeah.
thank you.
Bahani, we still have a bunch of questions here. And one is from Puspita. Yeah, Puspita, regarding to digital era, how to encourage teachers that have a long gap with Generation Z. Yeah, because sometimes Generation X or baby boomers, a kind of generation, are lacked of digital skills while delivering their materials. Yeah. They need to understand the characteristic of their students, so how to encourage this kind of teachers. Yeah, we were one of them before. Hopefully, hopefully not anymore, but still, yeah.
How to encourage teachers that have a long gap. Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
How to encourage teachers.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's a real challenge. Okay, but it's of course it's from the teachers themselves as well, like the awareness that they have to keep up, and not just, okay, this is me, and whether you want it or not. Okay, things like that. It's that's a kind of mindset that cannot grow. But as a student, I always ask my students as well. Okay, so like, do you know how to use this? Like the text story maker, for instance, I introduce the app to them, but they know better than me because they explore very quickly. And then I usually sit with them and then I watch, okay, so how do you make that? Okay, how do you add the music? How do you, so I learn from them. I think it's the kerendah hatian untuk belajar from the younger generations as well, and it's actually, it enriches me because now I know how. Okay.
Okay.
I hope that answers a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bu Puspita.
Yes. Thank you, Ma'am Henny. Ya, kerendahan hati ya, Ma'am. Low profile.
Yeah.
To learn from Gen Z because they
Yes,
know
I guess.
a lot and then they can adapt all the technology as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
And then we are learning through the advance and adapting the technology now,
Yes, that's
especially
right.
in this pandemic era. Thanks a lot, ma'am,
Okay.
for the
Yes.
suggestion.
Another question in our chat box from Ibu Sumaya Abdullah. Is it a gentleman or okay? A younger learner is more talented and apply the modern media, but as an English student, they dare not to write in English. Yeah, they don't dare. I mean, they don't have to practice structure or grammar. It's a pity. Mahasiswa tidak pede menulis dalam bahasa Inggris karena mengandalkan aplikasi. Prihatin. Wow, it's the challenging question, Bu Eni. Please.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I can feel that. I mean,
Mhm.
there's always two sides of a coin. I mean, like a blade, those sides as well. I mean, there is always a good and bad side in everything, including in technology. But you know, I know that I heard as well. I heard someone who the student wrote in Indonesian and then used like just Google Translate. That's the application, like that's the technology as well, and without doing like adjustments of things like that. So it's things like that as well. And internet is so open, and then students can access anything now, including like if they don't have the they don't have the sincerity, or like they just copy and paste from the internet without, so then they fall into like plagiarism. And it's something that is concerning, but we cannot forbid them not to go to the internet, and it's impossible, it's inevitable, I guess. So what we can do is to remind them of the consequences, and that there are you can do it, you can use technology for good things. I mean, to improve yourself, to not just for the sake of scores or grades, for example, just to get good grades, but how to develop yourself. So something like that. And then the awareness that as teachers also, I appreciate the process, okay, rather than just the final product. So the process of developing or writing, I prefer to have a short story with maybe many grammatical mistakes. The idea is good, but we can work on it, okay, rather than someone who just copy and paste from the internet and submit that as their work. Okay, that's also a concern. But I think we have to make the students aware of that. It's inevitable, and prihatin dia sama, Bu. But I think we can do. This is something that we cannot avoid. Okay, but we can do something by reminding them and keep reminding them. Are you still mute?
Yeah, there are always two sides of the coin, right? Yes, okay. Another question is coming from our Dr. Mahmud. Yeah, Bu Henny, he's also from Australia. I mean, Pak Mahmud has just got back from Australia, I think. But Pak Mahmud today has a question for you. I'm aware of the use of literature, such as poetry, to develop students' creativity. But how can we ensure all students will be engaged in learning English through poetry? For instance, regardless their interest and for instance, regardless their interest. Okay, you got my point, Matt.
Yeah, I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it how to engage students with the discussion on poetry, for instance, even though probably they're not interested in reading poems?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes, that happens. Okay, of course. In my in creative writing class here, it used to be an elective course. Okay, so it means that students who took the class were interested in writing, in writing poems or stories. And there is no problem with that because they have the passion. But when we talk about other courses, other literature courses, like in Introduction to Literature, for instance, in which we also discuss poems, some might think that it's that poems are hard, okay, that difficult vocabularies and difficult meaning as well. I think that's natural, but what I usually do is to show them and to ask them to discuss and see how these poems are related to their life. Okay, so I guess something that is not connected, then they don't get the meaning, or that it's not meaningful. So if we want the students to find the poems meaningful to them, I think based on my experience, I have to ask them to connect, okay, to relate the poem with their life, with their experience, their feelings, and so that through reflection. So reflection is a must always at the end of, after reading, be it in a form of poems or in other forms, like just the traditional reflection format, okay, or just chat, like telling each other about how they feel, how they are connected, what is the impact of a particular, after reading short story, then how do they feel. I think feelings, emotions, and thoughts, and how a particular literary work affect their life, affect their feeling. I think that's how to make it meaningful to them. I think if it's meaningful, then they learn something. Okay, so I think.
Okay. Pak Mahmud gimana?
Thank you, Pak Mahmud, for the question. Yeah, I'm struggling as well.
That's very insightful and applicable answer, I think, in my opinion. And I'll try. Who knows? Maybe in the future, Ibu Winda will ask me to help her teaching poetry, for example, and I can just apply what you said. Yeah, that's very insightful and applicable, definitely. Thank you, Ibu Henny.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pak, for the question.
Yeah. Okay. But perhaps we can
some poems.
Perhaps we can go back to the paddle. Paddle. How can we pronounce it? Paddle.
Padlet.
Okay, Padlet.
Can I share some of the poems?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's here already.
It's lovely. Okay.
Unfortunately, no name, but you can actually later add the name. Okay, it's still anonymous, but it's okay. You can just write down the name at the bottom.
Aku enggak, siapa yang nulis nih?
Ayo, siapa ini? If you are interested, no name poem. Wow. Okay, these ones as well. I am going to Pitch Dark Room. This is the poem. Who wrote this? Would you like to read through?
Yeah. Somebody. Hello.
Ya, yang nulis bisa dibaca.
Gak mungkin Mbak Winda yang baca. Hello. Malu mungkin, Mbak.
Oke, Bu Winda saja deh.
Okay. Dark, too dark, all lost, destroyed, perished, too complicated, cramped. I'm in a pitch dark room, too dark, dark. I crave for the warmth. I beg for home, for a hug, a talk. Longing for a home in the named, name in a word in a scent, jasmine, the smell of jasmine. Wow, a moving poem, Mbak.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is really good. Okay, so thank you for that. Thank you for writing. Thank you for reading that, Winda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Mbak. Sama-sama.
I'll give you the link, Winda, and I will download all the poems. I can wait until like around 3 days, 2 or 3 days, and then I will download all and send the PDF format.
It will be really wonderful, Mbak. Please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no name. So if you still can edit, please add your name as the poet. Okay. So this is very, very nice. So see, even though it looks like, you know, oh, how can I put everything in one poem? But this is a very, very, very nice poem. Okay. This one. This one. Okay, so sad. You see, all of these are sometimes connected to one's life. So if we can invite students to explore their feelings, their memories, their experiences, and then write them down here, maybe with the prompts, if they don't know what to write about, just give them prompts like what I did, just give them like a set of words, and then they find ways to come up with this very nice poem.
Bu Henny, I was reading one of the poem, but unfortunately he sent it in a chat box. This is another example of generation ecstasy, our generation. Yeah, let me read. Pak Mahmud, in 2 minutes wrote it. In a pitch dark room, a hug comes to me. It looms with the smell of jasmine. That's another example of generation ecstasy. Ya, itu Mbak, yang dari Pak. Oh, tidak dipublish, dikirim ke saya secara private. Malu-malu pula Bapak ini ya. Saya ini everyone you can read.
Please post it in the Padlet, and then we can have a compilation of the poems.
Saya akan pemalu Winda katanya.
Wow, okay.
Mungkin nanti Mem Nora bisa mempertimbangkan Pak Mahmud mengajar di ini ya, literature in a language learning. English Study Education Program has that subject. Okay, Mbak, terus lanjut.
And probably, yes, okay. Probably we can like work together, like we can visit each other's class, and then you know.
Why not? We're going to do it next semester, right?
Yes. That would be great. Thank you, Winda.
Yeah. Okay, more questions from audience. We still have 5 minutes before the closing. Dari mahasiswa mungkin? Please, ada? Okay. Tidak ada?
Maybe suggestion.
Oh yeah, Pak. Yeah, well, we have one suggestion.
Yeah, I think this is a wonderful talk, but it would have been more productive if you started, you know, let's say presentation only 10 minutes and we have more questions and answers. So everything will be clear up. That's my suggestion. Rather than, you know, talking about theories, you can just access the internet.
Yeah.
But let the presenter explain everything what she knows about this literature. That's my suggestion for the next interaction. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Pa. Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion. But anyways, we have one last question, I think. Yeah. It is from Prof. Berlin. Thank you very much, Prof, for joining us this lovely morning. How do you define creativity, and what aspect of literature that can facilitate the creativity? Stephen Crescent, for example, says that input exposed to the student facilitate language learning. Yeah, but the input should be 1 plus 1. Is it I plus 1?
I plus 1.
I plus 1, iya Prof ya. Prof, makasih banyak pertanyaan. Ternyata Prof Berlin ini sebenarnya tertarik dengan sastra. Even though he's a Prof English education study program, Mbak. But setiap topik sastra Prof selalu ada. Thank you very much Prof for the appreciation. Mbak, maybe you can answer Prof Berlin.
Winda, sorry, I got disconnected just shortly.
Okay,
so I got unstable connection. So would you repeat the question?
Yes. How do you define creativity, and what aspect of literature that can facilitate the creativity? Stephen Crescent, for example, says that input exposed to the student facilitate language learning. But the input should be I plus 1.
Okay, that's a tough question.
Yes, that's a tough question from Prof Berlin, as usual, Mbak.
That's a very tough question. How to define creativity? I think there is no single definition. I read many references about creativity, and I think experts in creativity also mention that there is no, or it cannot be pinned down into like one definition, but they come up with some theories on how to develop it, on the types of creativity, and also like the components that can enhance creativity, and there are some characteristics, of creativity as well. Also, I think someone let's have a discussion, Bapak Ibu, if you have some ideas. It's the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. Okay. Characterized by the ability to perceive the world in new ways, to find hidden patterns, to make connections, yes, between seemingly unrelated phenomena, yes. So there are several ideas revolve around the meaning of creativity. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Bu Anna. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's right. Okay, that's true. And literature that can, sorry, Buinda, what was the second?
What aspect of literature that can facilitate the creativity?
Oh, what aspects of literature? I have no clue, Buinda.
What aspect of literature that can facilitate the creativity?
Is that now, based on my research, probably that's what I can tell.
Yeah.
We can encourage students to explore their cultural, intellectual resources in order to develop their creativity, and creativity that is unique, okay, to them. I mean, that's how they can find the uniqueness in creativity. But talking about that as well, the idea, like the concept of creativity, that is also very cultural, I found, because you know, even the idea of originality, which is, so originality is one of the characteristics of creativity. Okay, something is creative if it is original. But even the idea of originality is seems to be not rigid. Okay, so or perceived in a bit different way here. So like, for instance, let me give you one example. A student said that she was inspired by a Korean movie. So the short story that she wrote was inspired by a Korean movie. And I tried to find out what kind of inspiration. Is it from the characters or the setting or what? And then she told me, well, the plot. Okay, so how similar is the plot? Well, about 90%. Huh? 90%? I was a bit surprised. But for her, it's creative because she changed the names, she changed the setting, she changed, even though the plot is the same. Okay, so I guess the concept of originality as well, the newness, how new is also very cultural to some extent. And there are different ways of creativity, and like the Western types, okay, and Eastern types. Some books also mention about that in the people in the East, usually they synthesize, okay, combine. So by combining what already here, and then we create something new. So it's not from zero. I mean, but by creating something new from what already exists, which is fine actually. That is also a kind of way to produce creativity. So I guess yeah, that's a few things that I can say. Maybe we can have more discussions later. Thank you for the question, Professor.
Yes, I think we already arrived at the end of the session, but in the end of the sessions, but I mean, it's the 11th o'clock already. Yeah. Okay. Still, everybody, if you have questions, you can send your question to me, and I will communicate with Mbak Henny. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, but again, we would like to express our, the thousand of thank you, a bunch of grateful for Bu Henny Herawati, PhD, yeah, for joining us in our Friday forum. Yeah, and let me sum up, yeah, a few words that digital tool is proven to be effective to trigger student engagement and creativity. So there have been so many meaningful and useful resources provided on the internet. In a language classroom, the creativity and engagement can be developed and enhanced by making use of digital media. Okay, that is all for me today, from Bu Henny as well, everybody. Yeah, please join us again next year in our next Friday forum. Okay, kita beli dulu tepuk tangan yang paling meriah dong, please. Open your mic only for this time and give applause to Bu Henny, everybody. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Bu Henny.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you very much. Ya, Pak, saya kembalikan ke Pak Nasir, Pak.
Thank you, Bu Henny. Terima kasih banyak telah berbagi buat kami, telah memberikan kami pencerahan bagaimana sebenarnya sastra di era 5.0 ini, era digital ini, sehingga kami bisa saya juga dari generasi apa nih Bu namanya? Y juga ya Bu ya. Belum sampai generasi Z, jadi ya harus banyak belajar lagi nih Bu. Terima kasih Bu atas sumbangsi keilmuannya untuk pembelajaran sastra yang lebih up to date, more engaged to the student, to the creativity in digital world. Terima kasih, semoga apa yang telah diberikan Ibu bisa menjadi amal buat Ibu, apalagi ini hari Jumat.
Amin. Amin. Ya.
Terima kasih Ibu Winda, moderator.
Sama-sama Pak.
Saya untuk menggelar acara ini bersama. Untuk itu kami tidak membawa waktu karena waktunya sangat pendek. Kami akan mengundang Ibu Wakil Dekan 2 sebagai ketua atau penanggung jawab Teflin wilayah Sumatera Utara untuk memberi ketua baru ya, peralihan dari Prof. Sumarsi ke Ibu Dr. Masitowarni MID untuk bisa memberikan sedikit pencerahan buat kita semua. Kepada Ibu Dr. Masitowarni, kami mohon waktunya untuk memberikan.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Ketua Forum Friday Forum jurusan Bahasa dan Sastra Inggris yang luar biasa ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thanks for this chance. Before I proceed on, I'd like to thank distinguished speaker Ibu Heni Herawati. Bagus sekali Bu. Sebetulnya tadi ada juga saya mau poin tentang reading to learn oleh David Rose ya. Saya pikir itu relevan juga, tapi hampir mirip ya Bu ya, tapi mungkin di lain waktu bisa kita diskusikan ya Bu ya. Izinkan saya sebentar saja menyampaikan bahwa ada kepengurusan untuk semua hadirin, kepengurusan TEHFIL yang baru 2021-2024. Kebetulan saya dipercaya menjadi koordinator untuk wilayah Sumatera Utara. Untuk itu saya mengundang kita semua yang berhadir di ruangan ini, yang sudah jadi anggota TEFLIN, terima kasih, alhamdulillah. Yang belum, guru-guru di sini saya lihat masih banyak alumni kita. Silakan join di TEFLIN, ada nanti TEFLIN Organization, bisa dilihat di Google, dicek nanti untuk mendaftar bisa di TEFLIN Membership. Jadi akan banyak sekali benefits yang bisa diambil dengan joining professional organization. Seperti TEFLIN betul-betul diakui di Indonesia, dan kita bersyukur UNIMED dipercaya menjadi koordinator untuk wilayah Sumatera Utara. Nanti memang akan ada kegiatan, sekitar 3 kegiatan untuk tahun 2022. Tetapi what I'd like to say, ini ada juga, saya lihat alumni, ada Puspita Sari dan yang lain-lain. Silakan ya, para alumni yang sudah jadi guru, please join the organization because it will help you to become more professional teachers. Terima kasih sekali lagi. Terima kasih Bu Heni Herawati, for the very insightful ya. Kalau untuk saya yang foreign technology itu betul-betul inspire ya. Ibu tadi kan masih native technology, jadi sangat lancar menceritakan bagaimana literature in digital ya. Oke, terima kasih sekali lagi kesempatan yang diberikan oleh Pak Nasir, Pak Ketua Jurusan, Pak Indra Hartoyo, dan kesemuanya. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Ibu Wakil Dekan 2 yang telah menginfokan. Ayo mari semua ini guru-guru, dosen-dosen untuk mendaftar di TEFLIN karena ini sangat berguna buat kita semuanya. Mari mendaftar bersama-sama. Banyak keilmuan yang akan kita dapat di TEFLIN ini kelak. Oke, sekali lagi terima kasih Ibu Wakil Dekan 2 sebagai koordinator wilayah Sumatera Utara TEFLIN yang baru. Selamat Bu untuk
terima kasih Pak.
Tugas baru lagi ya Bu ya. Iya Bu. Apa-apa Bu. Semoga sukses. Untuk Ibu Heni terima kasih banyak Bu. Ya banyak sekali ilmu yang kami dapat. Ternyata sastra itu bisa berkembang mengikuti teknologi. Jadi jangan dibilang sastra ketinggalan lagi ya. Sastra not just for all session. Sastra is follow the digital tools, digital era. Sastra is also up to date now. Ya Bu, ini kebetulan kami dari sastra nih Bu. Jadi sastra itu jangan dikira udah ketinggalan kali, asik membahas kearifan lokal aja, ketinggalan yang lalu-lalu aja. Kita update dong sastranya sekarang.
Perlu diupdate ya Bang.
Iya, diupdate dong. Jangan pemikiran sastra itu berbau yang dulu-dulu aja. Ternyata sastra itu diperkenalkan oleh Ibu Heni Herawati itu tadi. Saya lihat lembaran-lembaran tadi tuh Bu, yang saya pun nggak ngerti buatnya bagaimana tuh Bu. Cantik sekali ya kan. Kan ada tadi hasil karya mahasiswa berbentuk prose atau apa. Kalau dibuat begitu kan asik bacanya, menarik gitu, warna-warni. Jadi kan ada tulisan, ya memang kalau kita berbicara creativity, mungkin ya stucknya itu di grammar atau di vocab itu saya rasa nggak masalah. Yang penting performance-nya dulu. tampilkan dulu, karyakan dulu kreativitas itu. Kesalahan itu kan nanti mengikuti perkembangan, saya rasa. Kalau menurut saya, yang penting dibuat dulu sesuai yang tadi sangat menarik sekali Bu Winda ya.
Iya.
Kita harus belajar banyak ini tentang teknologi ini.
Kita perlu memasukkan materi-materi ini di beberapa modul kita ya Pak. Sayang tuh kita nggak punya mata kuliah creative writing.
Halo.
Oke. Iya. Tapi nggak apa-apa, di insert aja di ini. Iya. Oke.
Jadi ini betul-betul membuat kami apa ini, men-trigger kami nih Bu. Terutama ini gerbong lokomotifnya Ibu Winda nih kan.
Oke.
Lokomotif kami nih Bu,
saya lagi. Iya.
Bu Heni.
Iyalah. Kita punya banyak ini. Ya, semoga nanti kita ada kelanjutannya ya Pak.
Kelanjutan
untuk mengupdate para dosen sastra ini.
Iya Bu, kami perlu diupdate semua nih Bu. Apalagi saya Bu, udah bukan generasi Y, udah generasi apa ini? W, W. Terima kasih Bu Hedi.
Zaman kolonial tuh Pak.
Iya bener nih Pak.
Sekarang udah era post kolonial.
Iya, cuman kan bahwa pikiran dosennya kan masih kolonial ya.
Resistensi itu normal. Oke.
Terima kasih.
Ya,
Untuk itu kepada rekan-rekan semua peserta, kepada pihak dekanat yang telah memberikan kesempatan, jurusan yang backing terus mensupport, prodi, apalagi rekan-rekan sastra, entah kenapa ya, karena mungkin jurusan sastra, jadi saya sangat senang hari ini, nggak tahu lah. Tapi ada sedikit kebanggaan buat saya bahwa kita diperkenalkan dengan era digital, sesuai tadi reframing, membingkai kembali kan gitu Bu ya. Kita bingkai kembali, berarti bingkai yang lama jangan dibuang, tapi kita bingkai yang baru gitu kan. Kita perbaharui artinya kan gitu Bu kan. Terima kasih Ibu Heni lagi-lagi. Sekali lagi semoga semua ini menjadi amal jariah Ibu Winda, semua peserta, guru-guru.
Iya. Materi ini juga ini loh Pak, bisa best applied ini di ini ya, malah di sekolah atau di prodi pendidikan malah. Iya.
Iya, di sekolah-sekolah nih gimana nih anak-anak nih supaya suka bahasa Inggris tapi sastra Inggris.
Ya, generatif poem tadi bisa untuk anak SMP ya Mbak, bisa buat anak SD malah.
Ini banyak nih guru-guru di sini nih Bu.
Iya.
Ini sangat berguna sekali buat kami nih. Terima kasih sekali lagi semuanya guru-guru. Pihak tadi udah saya singgung semuanya, pihak prodi apalagi ya Pak Ketua jurusan ya udah jelas lah memang yang ngadakan kan gitu, apalagi terima kasih. Ya semoga kita berjumpa lagi untuk Friday Forum tahun depan, karena bulan depan kesibukan para dosen makin banyak, jadi kami stop Friday Forumnya. Takut terganggu aktivitas dosen-dosennya dalam mengerjakan birokrasi segala macam untuk bulan depan, jadi kami sambung tahun depan dengan perspektif yang berbeda mungkin nantinya. Terima kasih sekali lagi, jumpa lagi tahun depan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Can we have a photo session? We forgot to have a photo session.
Photo session.
Bang Indra.
Bang Indra, ini siapa sih? Apa? Hairunisa.
Hairunisa, ya, can we have a photo session? Mudah, ya.
Oke, kita ambil dulu fotonya.
Please, everybody, open your video.
Turn on your camera. Oke. Wait a second ya.
Turn on the camera, please. Ya. Bu Fauzia, Bu Ana, Bu Cila, Pak Mahmud. Ma'am, Prof.
Slide. Okay. Oke, slide 2. Ada Prof J di situ. Halo Prof. Prof J juga sudah menyimak dari tadi ternyata.
Ya. Bu Widya juga ada.
Iya, Bu Widya juga.
Ini update buat Bu Widya ya.
Oke, slide 3. Iya, ada Ibu Marisi.
Bu Mei juga ada, Bu Mei paling rajin.
Ya, Bu Mei ada tadi.
Iya.
Ada.
Pagi Bu
Mei.
sayang.
Bu Mei dari pagi tadi Bu Mei.
Iya.
Ini dari pagi ada. Oke, Bapak Ibu sudah ya.
Oke.
Oke, thank you Pak Indra.
Oke, sama-sama Pak Nasir. Terima kasih untuk Ibu
Terima
Heni
kasih,
dan
terima
semua profesor ada di sini. Ibu Mei, kemudian Ibu Dua, Winda. Yes,
Ya.
Thank you very much, Win ya.
Ya, sama-sama Bang.
So let's meet again next year.
Bye.
Bye. And thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Now we can leave this room.
Yes.